As time passes, we come to the realization that the things we thought we needed most aren't always the things that end up mattering most. In our youth, the pursuit of financial security is often the focus of our efforts. We are driven by the belief that if we work hard enough, save enough, and plan well enough, we will be able to avoid asking for help and remain independent throughout our lives. We work tirelessly toward a future where we will not need to lean on anyone, particularly our children. We envision a life where our financial success will ensure our comfort, our peace of mind, and our ability to age gracefully without burdening anyone else. But as the years roll by, we begin to understand the complexities of life in ways that we may not have anticipated when we were younger. While financial security can undoubtedly ease many challenges and make life more comfortable, it cannot fill the emotional void that often emerges as we age. The realization dawns that the real wealth we should have been focused on is not money, but the depth of our relationships, the closeness we share with our families, the bonds we form with those we love. These are the things that provide comfort when we face adversity, that offer solace when we are mourning the loss of loved ones, and that give us purpose when we feel disconnected or alone. As we get older, it becomes increasingly clear that our relationships with our children are among the most important aspects of our lives. They are the ones who, over the years, come to embody the essence of our legacy. But in order to cultivate these relationships, we must be mindful of the words we use. The things we say, especially when it comes to expressing our need for help, can have a lasting impact on the dynamics of our families. While we may think that asserting our independence is a positive thing, it can sometimes lead to unintentional consequences. By telling our children that they don't need to worry about us because we have financial security, we may inadvertently push them away, making them feel as though they are not needed. This might seem like a gesture of self-reliance, but it can create an emotional distance that can be difficult to bridge. It's important to understand that our children may want to care for us, to be there for us, and to show their love in practical ways. They may not necessarily view our need for support as a burden, but rather as an opportunity to give back the love and care that we have shown them throughout their lives. By rejecting their offers of help, we might send a message that we do not value their involvement in our lives or their role in our family. This can lead to feelings of resentment, confusion, or even guilt on their part, and the distance between us can grow, not because they no longer care for us, but because we have unknowingly created a barrier between us with our words. There is an inherent irony in the pursuit of financial independence as we age. We dedicate so much of our lives to making sure we don't become a burden on anyone, but in doing so, we can lose sight of the fact that the very people we are trying to protect may actually want to be there for us. What we think is a sign of strength, our ability to manage on our own, can be perceived as a sign of emotional detachment. Our children, who may have been there for us throughout our lives, may start to feel alienated, as though they are no longer necessary or important to us. This sense of distance can grow over time, leading to a situation where we find ourselves not only financially secure, but also emotionally isolated. It's in these moments of loneliness, when we are faced with the reality of aging and all that comes with it, that we begin to understand the importance of human connection. Money can buy us comfort, a roof over our heads, and the ability to maintain our independence. But it cannot fill the empty spaces in our hearts, nor can it provide the sense of belonging that comes from being surrounded by family. When we lose a spouse, when our children move away, or when we find ourselves facing health challenges, it's the presence of those who love us that truly matters. As we age, it becomes less about the material things we have accumulated and more about the relationships we have nurtured. The greatest treasure we can possess is not the wealth we have built over a lifetime, but the love we have shared and the family bonds we have fostered. These are the things that give our lives meaning and purpose. It's the laughter of grandchildren, the support of a child when we need it most, and the understanding that, no matter how much we age, we are still valued, still loved, and still part of a family. And so, we must reconsider our approach to independence as we age. It's not that we should suddenly become dependent on our children, but rather that we should be open to the love and support they want to offer. We must recognize that our children don't see our need for help as a burden, but as an expression of love. They want to be there for us just as we have been there for them throughout their lives. The more we embrace this reality, the more we will find that our relationships with our children and with our entire family become stronger, deeper, and more meaningful. In a world where material wealth is often seen as the ultimate measure of success, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But as we grow older and face the challenges that come with aging, we come to realize that the greatest treasures in life are not the things we can buy, but the people we surround ourselves with. Our family, the people who have loved us, supported us, and been there for us through thick and thin, are the ones who make life truly rich. It is not the money we have that defines us, but the love we share, the connections we make, and the memories we create. At the end of the day, the most important thing is not how much money we've saved or how many possessions we've accumulated, but how we have treated the people who matter most to us. If we can look back on our lives and say that we have loved deeply, that we have been there for our children, and that we have built strong, lasting relationships, then we will have achieved something far more valuable than any amount of wealth. The true richness of life comes not from what we own, but from the love and connections we share. It's the moments spent with family, the quiet conversations with a child, the comfort of knowing that, no matter what happens, we are surrounded by those who care. This is the real wealth that we should strive for, not the money in our bank accounts, but the relationships that fill our hearts. As we move forward in life, it's important to keep this perspective in mind. We should never let the pursuit of independence or financial security overshadow the value of the people around us. We should never be too proud to accept help, to allow our children to care for us, or to express our love for them. The more we open our hearts to each other, the more we will find that the richness of life lies not in what we have, but in the love we give and receive. And in the end, this is the greatest treasure of all. As we continue to age, it's crucial that we reflect on the importance of family. Our wealth, no matter how great, will not protect us from loneliness or isolation. It's the presence of our loved ones, their care, their love, and their support that will truly carry us through the later years of our lives. The greatest gift we can give our children is not financial security, but the wisdom of knowing that love, connection, and support are the true markers of a life well lived. In this way, we pass down the most valuable inheritance of all, the knowledge that love is what truly sustains us, and that no amount of money can replace the bonds that tie us together. As we journey through life, it becomes increasingly clear that the bonds we share with our family are the true treasures we hold. We accumulate wealth, possessions, and achievements throughout our years, but none of these things can offer the emotional fulfillment that comes from genuine connections with our loved ones. The relationships we build with our children, our spouses, and even our extended family members are the ones that sustain us, bring meaning to our existence, and provide the strength we need to navigate the challenges of aging. It is easy to assume that financial security is the ultimate goal, that having enough money set aside for our retirement and ensuring that we are financially independent will guarantee us a peaceful and comfortable life. But as we grow older, we come to realize that while money can provide comfort, it cannot replace the love, care, and support of those we hold dear. We may spend our younger years building our careers, saving money, and preparing for a future where we are free from financial worries, but we must not overlook the emotional needs of our family as we do so. Our relationships with our children, in particular, are crucial to our well-being as we age. We often hope that our careful planning and financial security will relieve our loved ones of the burden of caring for us. that they will not need to worry about us financially. Yet, in doing so, we may unknowingly create emotional distance between ourselves and those we care about. While we may intend to protect our children from the stress of financial concerns, we risk alienating them if we do not also tend to the emotional bonds that are so vital for a close and supportive family dynamic. The story of Uncle Prune serves as a poignant reminder of this truth. Uncle Prune spent his entire life saving money and planning for his retirement. He was meticulous in his financial planning, believing that his careful preparation would allow him to live out his later years comfortably, without being a burden to anyone. He worked hard throughout his life, raising his children with love and devotion, and he hoped that his savings would provide not only for his own needs, but also for the well-being of his family. As his health began to decline, he sat down with his children to explain his plans, telling them that he had set aside money for whoever would care for him in his old age. At first, everything seemed to go smoothly. His eldest son, who had always been the responsible one, took on the role of primary caregiver, and Uncle Prune believed that his financial contributions would ensure that his son would not be burdened with the costs of caring for him. But as time passed, the financial strain on his son grew. What had started as small requests, such as home repairs and medical bills, soon escalated into larger demands. Uncle Prune, ever the generous father, continued to give, believing that his money would help maintain the bond between them. He did not want his son to feel burdened, and he thought that by continuing to provide financially, he was showing his love and support. But the reality was that the money ran out, and with it, so did the relationship. The emotional connection between father and son began to fray, and his son became more distant. What had once been a warm, close relationship was now strained, and Uncle Prune found himself alone, abandoned, when he needed his family the most. This heartbreaking story is a powerful reminder that while financial security is important, it can never replace the need for genuine love, care, and emotional support. Money is a tool that can help provide comfort, but it is the relationships we build and nurture throughout our lives that are the true foundation of our well-being. When we plan for retirement, we must remember that our emotional needs and the emotional needs of our family are just as important as our financial concerns. The security and peace of mind we seek through careful financial planning will only be fully realized when it is accompanied by a strong, healthy relationship with those closest to us. As we age, we must also come to terms with the fact that our children may not always be able to meet our needs in the ways we expect. Life moves quickly, and our children grow busy with their own lives, their own responsibilities, and their own families. It can be easy to feel neglected or abandoned when they are not able to be there for us as much as we would like. But we must remember that their love for us has not diminished, and that they still care deeply about our well-being. The challenges of aging can sometimes make us feel vulnerable and isolated. But we must not let pride or fear prevent us from reaching out to our children, expressing our needs, and accepting the love and support they are willing to offer. It is often said that we do not truly know what is best for our children, even when we think we do. As parents, we want the best for our children, and we often believe that we can guide them towards success based on our own beliefs and experiences. However, in our efforts to shape them into what we think they should be, we may fail to recognize who they truly are and what they truly need. The story of Tanu and his son Bangong highlights this dynamic beautifully. Tanu, proud of his family and wanting the best for his children, placed great importance on status, wealth, and social recognition. He believed that success in life was measured by these markers, and he hoped that his children would follow a similar path. However, Bangong, his son, had different dreams. He was hardworking, honest, and kind, but he didn't fit the mold that his father had created for him. Tanu constantly compared Bangong to his more successful cousins, believing that his son was somehow falling short. These comparisons, though made out of love and a desire to see his son succeed, hurt Bangong deeply. Despite his best efforts, he could never meet his father's expectations. Over time, the emotional distance between father and son grew. Bangong, feeling inadequate and unsupported, eventually moved away, hoping to find success on his own terms. Yet, even from afar, he could not escape the criticism and judgment from his father. The emotional damage had been done, and the bond between them had been fractured beyond repair. Tanu, growing older and weaker, finally realized too late that he had lost his son. Not because of any failure on Bangong's part, but because of the words he had spoken and the expectations he had imposed. In a heartfelt letter to his son, Tanu expressed his deep regret and longing. He admitted that he had judged his son by the wrong standards, comparing him to others rather than appreciating him for who he truly was. It was a painful realization, one that came too late to undo the damage, but it served as a valuable lesson for him. Love should never come with conditions or comparisons. This realization was further reinforced by the story of Grandma Wa and her daughter Maim. Throughout Maim's life, her mother criticized her, constantly comparing her to others and making her feel inferior. Though these words may have been intended to motivate or encourage Maim, they only caused emotional harm. Despite Maim's dedication and devotion to her family, the bond between mother and daughter grew more distant with each passing year. When Grandma Wa grew old and frail, she finally recognized the mistake she had made in using harsh words to criticize her daughter. She regretted her critical nature and longed for the warmth of the relationship she had lost. But by then, the damage had been done. Maim still cared for her mother and dutifully cared for her in her final years, but the emotional connection between them had been severed long ago. These stories serve as powerful reminders of the lasting impact that words, especially those spoken by parents, can have on a child's sense of self-worth and emotional well-being. Criticism, comparisons, and harsh expectations can create deep wounds that take a lifetime to heal. As we grow older, it becomes even more important to be mindful of how we speak to our children, for our words have the power to shape their future just as they shaped ours. It is not success or failure that matters most, but the love, support, and understanding we provide to one another. It's the gentle encouragement, the kind words, and the unconditional acceptance that fosters strong, loving relationships. As we age, our children may not always be able to provide us with the care and attention we desire. They may be caught up in their own busy lives and responsibilities, and they may not be able to fulfill our needs in the way we expect. But that does not mean that they love us any less. We must remember that love is not defined by how often we are physically present for one another, but by the underlying emotional connection that binds us together. As parents, we must communicate openly and lovingly with our children, expressing our needs and desires without guilt or pride. We must be willing to accept their love and support, recognizing that the most precious thing in life is not wealth or accomplishments, but the love we share with our family. In the end, it is not what we have accumulated in material wealth that defines our success, but the love we have given and received, and the relationships we have built. As we move through life and grow older, let us remember that words have the power to heal or hurt, to build up or tear down. Let us choose our words carefully, speaking with love, kindness, and understanding. Let us focus on building relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, compassion, and trust. And let us never forget that the true wealth of a family lies not in its financial assets, but in the love it shares.